Yeah, I mean, I even have like another glove. I'm just like, I'm already using the big.
You're not even wearing the second glove.
No, to be honest, I don't need it. But this is this is the Hawkeye colors there. It's doing a swell job.
Yeah.
Actually, when I used it at the Winter Classic, like it was brutally cold, and it actually did a very good job. Like,
Yeah.
like for the fact
It's,
it's
like,
just like
warm
a
and
cheap
everything.
thing, like off of Amazon, and looks stupid, but
I
it does a
can
good
kinda
job.
move my
Highly
mouse with the
suggest.
glove on. Welcome back, Hawks Off Melrose. I think we need to make a sad version of our intro for games like this.
Yeah.
The intro's a little too peppy for something like this.
Yeah, no, not just.
We made it expecting to never lose again, you know?
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, that's how you have to do it.
Yeah, as any good fan would.
All right. Well, I'm gonna crack. I know you don't have one,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna crack mine open. It's the same thing as last week, but
My drink this week is some hot water and some Templeton rye. Because my throat's still a little sore from the game. So this is going to make it so I can keep talking a little bit longer with a little hot liquid. Oh my God, I lied.
was up.
I did not need to keep it in the microwave longer. That water is plenty warm.
I like how this like almost exploded on me, and then you like burn your tongue. Like great start to the to the podcast.
Honestly, started just like the game did.
Exactly. Started like
It's
every
just
game this
accurate.
year that
Started
actually
like every
that
game this year. Yeah.
that's mattered.
Hey, but you know what? Improvements. It wasn't the offense this time.
Yeah, it's something we usually keep near and dear to our hearts, our special teams.
Oh, well, should we start there?
Yeah, I guess. Well, as we all know,
I was nervous about the punting going into this game, honestly, not because of the snapping. I didn't think the snapping would be an
No.
issue. I was just nervous because, like we talked about, Dakin doesn't look the most comfortable in the pocket on some of those punts.
yeah, he's not just he's
He's still like getting his legs under him.
yeah.
You know?
Again, he hasn't been playing organized football for
Yeah.
more than 2 years.
And I was just worried with a wet ball, uncomfortable in the pocket. It was just going to result in. I didn't even think necessarily he would fumble a snap. I just thought there might be a couple shanked punts.
Yeah,
What did go down? Not his fault.
no, not at all.
Honestly, phenomenal play out of him to save that safety.
Yeah, no, I was actually like, I was thinking about that after like the play. I was just like, damn, like I was surprised that again, someone like him who, doesn't have years and years and
Yeah.
years of experience playing like organized football to like
Yeah.
go out and do that.
And
Just
great
make
on the
it-
coaches for teaching him those rules. Because I don't know if you watched the
that's
replay.
definitely like,
But not only did he know to get that ball out of the back of the end zone, but that ball stopped on about the 2-yard line. And he
Yeah.
knew he couldn't kick it then. He bent down with his hand, knocked it into
See,
the end
I didn't
zone,
even
and
know
then
that.
booted it out.
yeah, I didn't even know that.
So, for reference, if it's kickball obviously illegal, as the call was a kickball in the end zone results to play as a safety. It's the same
Yeah,
thing
like
as
I've
just
seen
the
that
safety that
before.
happened at the back
Yeah.
of the end zone. However, had he kicked that ball on the 2-yard line, Oregon gets the ball on the 1-yard line on offense. It's like an automatic touchdown. So if you watch the replay of it, he's really good by him.
yeah,
He
just kinda
bends
like
down,
bats it.
knocks it into the end zone, stands up, runs in, and just boots it out the
Yeah,
back.
he almost missed though.
He did.
Or he missed
took,
the
it took him the
first one.
second kick. It did take him a second kick, but
Yeah, I shouldn't be laughing about that because that again is for or it's more praising him for a good play than
Yeah.
like the actual realization of like this is the third time,
We've started off a big game.
like that.
Yep.
Obviously, we got the win versus Penn State, but it's just digging ourselves into a hole every single time we have a big game.
Yeah, correct. And they went up 10-0 almost immediately, and it was just, you got to dig yourself out again.
Yeah.
And I mean, this time, as we've done every time, we did dig ourselves out of the hole. We dug ourselves out against Indiana. We especially did it against Penn State. We did it again. It just, we couldn't
Yeah.
close it.
No, we did. We've done a good job with like the other team scoring and getting up by like I think this game was a 9-0 because 7. Yeah, because the 2-point and then the touchdown, and then
you're
right after that us scoring.
Yeah.
And like going down, I think it was like
touchdown,
a 10 play,
touchdown.
like,
Yeah.
we were doing well about that because that's where teams lose is you go down that 9, you let up the touchdown, then you punt, and then they score again. It's all the way up to 16, 17, whatever. So at least they did that, but I don't even know where to.
Rough start.
yeah.
Obviously, so 2 bad snaps to start. Our very first drive, that snap came out to the right of Dakin, and he was able to get in front of it, grab it, and it was a very bad punt because it was a really bad snap, so it resulted in a bad punt because he didn't have time to get a good punt off. I think they got it on like the 43 or something.
Yeah, they got it pretty close to half.
Defense stepped up, and then obviously that second punt right over his head. There's nothing he could have done.
He could
absolutely
have.
nothing.
He could have been 6'5" and made a diving save like a goalie.
And
but
I just don't
that
get
was way over his head.
You got a good long snapper in there. And I know it's wet conditions, but I all week you just got to dunk that ball in a 5-gallon bucket of water, throw it to your long snapper, and say, "Here you go." Like, snap a wet ball. Like, figure this out.
Yeah.
And to his credit, there wasn't an issue for the rest of the day after those two.
Yeah. It's just frustrating because like all week we're talking about, this is perfect for like Iowa football.
Yeah.
In the rain, in the cold. I know Oregon gets some rain, but like that's like supposed to be like, Iowa's thing. Like we're gonna win. Like, we're not going to make the mistakes. And it felt like in this game, the weather-related mistakes were on us and not on Oregon.
Agreed. And honestly, in that regard, credit to Oregon.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, they came in and they played like a big
good
team.
environment.
Like,
yeah.
Like, I give credit to Oregon 100%. And like, teams are like, oh, like, Oregon played like Iowa, like, it was only 18-16. But I'm like, you got to give credit. Like, Iowa's always going to kind of do that. Like, they have a good defense.
Oregon played Big Ten football.
Yeah, they won in the trenches, and they did not make the mistakes like with the cold, with the rain. Like,
I was saying before the game, I should have gone to a Big Noon with a sign that says, "Can you do it on a cold, rainy night in Kinnick?" And they did.
Yeah,
they did in fact.
Yeah, wasn't true night though. It was close. Wasn't true night. 2:30 game.
That's true.
I will say Drew knows this, but I was unable to watch like 2/3 of the game, sadly, because of this wedding. It was in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee. And,
honestly, you saw the good parts.
I did. I saw the first quarter. I saw the snap going over the head.
The first quarter wasn't a good part.
Yeah, I saw like the I guess a lot of the memorable moments. I saw that. I was keeping up on my phone, but obviously just with the wedding, like I'm not gonna have my phone out at the
the ceremony.
The ceremony and stuff. I was able to watch pretty much the majority of the fourth quarter. I didn't see the fumble, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But pretty much right after the fumble, I saw Iowa take it all the way down, score their touchdown, and like we'll get into that. But I saw it, and I rewatched as much as I could. But
I mean, if we just want to keep talking about the mistakes, obviously that fumble's a big one.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of debate about whether or not it was very clearly a fumble. There's a lot of debate about whether or not Wetjen had it possessed on the ground. From what I could tell, he had it possessed like between his legs, but there was debate whether or not he had a hand on it, something like that.
But something like that. Just like at the end of the day, you can't fumble there.
Yeah,
like I know. He might have had had possession, and then they could have gone to I know they went to review, but like
just hold the ball.
You can't. You just cannot in that instant. Like
and it's hard to like rag on a guy like that who's had such a good year, and he's had so many of those dynamic runs, and he's held onto the ball every time. Like there's been a lot of hits where you could easily fumble a ball, and he hasn't done it, and it just, as seems to be a theme for this year, happened at the worst time possible. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's not his fault we lost the game.
Absolutely not.
It's just,
and I know a lot of people are saying the reason we lost the game is the safety, but you also can't even put it on that necessarily because you don't get that safety that changes a lot of the game, or he gets the ball back right after the safety. It's just like how the game would have gone after that would have been a lot different. Yeah,
and we've proven at least in these games that we've come back from that initial mistake. Like it hasn't been.
We just got to stop making those mistakes.
On the scoreboard it shows, we lost by 2, or in the other games we lost by like a touchdown.
It's not like I'm saying the safety did not bite us in the ass in the end, because very clearly it did. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, we were playing pretty much like obviously playing from behind, but we were playing almost that 2 points down the whole game. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like trying to get the 2-point conversions and like, being within striking distance like multiple times of just if we didn't have that safety, then it would have been a different game.
And so I guess, we can talk about, we had that, obviously the really good drive, get down the field. We'll talk more about the drive later. I have some notes about it, but then we get the touchdown, go over the 2-point conversion. Same thing we did with the 2-point conversion is the same thing I had the problem with against Penn State. For that 2-point conversion, we lined up in 5 wide, which is like, I get you can like do the design QB run there, but obviously we didn't. I just don't get why you're not trying to run the ball from the 2-yard line on those 2-point conversions. It's just, you got to get one of them.
We were able to get the touchdown literally like wide open, and you might argue, oh, well, they're looking for that. I don't care. We've been doing it all year, and it's been working.
Yeah. And the rushing game wasn't astounding this game, but it's not like it wasn't working at all. The weather makes a game like this so unpredictable. It was a lot of gain of 1 yard, gain of no yards, gain of 2 yards, and suddenly gain of 6, gain of 8. It was just so sporadic. But the weather is a big factor about that. I mean, I guess I can look at the exact stats. I don't know if we didn't have many tackle for loss, did we? 4 tackle for loss. 2 of them were sacks, though, unless are those counted separately?
I'm not sure.
I don't think they are because they each have 1 sack, 1 TFL. So
yeah, actually, those I think they're together.
Yeah, so I mean, so essentially 2 running plays went down behind the line off the line of scrimmage. So you got to put the ball on the ground. I don't know. You're Iowa. You have good running backs. You need 2 points around the 2-yard line. Just put it on the ground or put it in Gronowski's hands and let him run. I mean, yeah.
Do some type of pass rush option for him.
And we were talking, it did almost work. I mean,
tipped up.
It didn't work on the design play. Yeah, the ball was tipped, and we almost got it anyway. And I don't. Who was that caught it? I don't know.
Was that Moulton? I think it was Moulton.
Was it Moulton?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Another thing about that is just another I think if you watch it, I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I do think he slips when he catches it, and that's why he was out of bounds. Just another the weather just not working in our favor. Everything that had to do with the weather was just going against us and not Oregon, which is again a Iowa problem. And obviously making excuses because that should be the Iowa thing is them. As I just said, I'm not making that's not an excuse. That's literally we should have been the team to get all those.
And the ball's tipped. It's a little more in front of him. He's got to make a kind of a jump dive for it. And it was just the kind of deal where it was he caught that ball and his feet are very clearly over the ground, but he's swinging his feet obviously to catch himself. They end up out of bounds. It's just they call it the game of inches. You get a foot down just a little bit. That's good. It just what really sucked in the stadium was that they called it good initially.
But you could see Moulton he knew right away he didn't catch.
Yeah, see, me being in the north end zone and them being in the south, the opposite corner end zone, I did not know.
Yeah,
I was hell
slammed. He slammed his hand on the ground. You could tell he was mad, and they called touchdown. And then he was and I'm okay, he knows he.
You got to sell it. You got to sell it. No, that was something that my brother and I were talking about. Was the entire game happened in the south end zone. The entire game happened on the other side of the field from us, and we were kind of complaining about it. And the second half started, and we were down, getting ready to go to that end zone to the end of the game. And I said something about I was wow, you're right. The game really has all happened in the south end zone. And he goes, and honestly, I hope it finishes there too.
Yeah,
I was yeah, good point. Yeah. And it almost did. It was so close.
Yeah, I mean, still at that point, you're up by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Did you? How much for me as someone again who was trying my best to keep, watch the game, keep up with it, but not being able to watch every play.
Yeah,
I did not have much confidence that we were going to stop them from going 30 yards for a field goal, 40 yards or whatever.
Yeah,
I know we have stopped teams in the past Penn State, but it felt different with just we can't. I know they have to go fast, but I felt I was I bet you, even though there's a minute 20 left, they're going to be able to just rush it down.
And that's the issue. Something we have in here is we talked about last week when we struggled against Penn State, when we said we had to do the win this game, was we had to stop the run, and we could not do that. We didn't stop the run. They ran it down our throats the entire game, in that just shitty wet weather. And it seemed like every run went for 4 yards, 6 yards, first down. Yeah, and it was just looking at the stats, 36 carries, 261 yards, 7.3 average. Yeah. You're never going to win a game averaging when the other team's averaging 7.3. And we almost did, but before we talk about that drive though, let's talk about a little bit our drive before that. What I put down there is Mark Gronowski is just a fucking winner.
Yeah.
And it's just I know there's that he's got that dog in him that people say all the time, but he truly just does.
Yeah.
He just has this competitive bone in his body where it just when the pressure's on, he steps up. And it is so fun to watch. It's something that we haven't seen in an Iowa quarterback since realistically Stanzi.
Yeah.
I mean, Beathard had it too, but I haven't seen a team. Ricky Stanzi could just will a team to win.
Yeah.
It was insane. This pressure's on. You're out of the game, and then suddenly you're not, because he could just will a team to win. And this is the Gronowski. It looks just like it. You're down, you're 100%. In a hole, and he just steps up and he just makes plays, and suddenly you're back in the game.
Yeah, he had before that, he ended with only 138 yards passing, but 40,
which is I will say
those were in this all in the fourth quarter or something. I could be wrong about that, but
not a good chunk of them. But I will say, he did have here. I wrote it down exactly. He had 138 passing yards, but Moore only had 112.
Yeah.
He had more passing yards than Oregon. Like we had more passing yards than Oregon did, which
I don't think people would have ever
guessed. No, and like I know the weather is a factor of that, but like he stepped up and made the plays.
The fact, we had, as you put on here, a 38-yard pass, a 40-yard pass.
Yeah,
like,
so that first 38-yard pass to Gill on the touchdown drive, just a beautiful pass. Landed it perfectly. Like Gill was able to get it in stride and keep running.
Yeah,
phenomenal pass. And then I'm partial to the 40-yard pass to Vaname, simply because where we were sitting, I just saw that play develop so well. And you see him kind of get in front of his like a defender on the slant, and you see him realize that like, oh, I've got space. And he just turns downfield and starts waving. And I was like, oh, he's so open right down the middle. And Gronowski just like plants his foot, chucks that ball, and it like for a second you're like, oh, that might be picked off. And then just like it's a little bit short, but like he was on the run and he got it there. And it was a phenomenal throw. And the vibes were immaculate.
He almost, that. If he didn't, I was watching that, and obviously, like, we went down and scored, so it didn't matter. But like, he like almost got tripped up by the defender, where like the two guys collided, and I feel like I was like, oh, like he almost got out of that. Yeah, he could have been. That could have been.
And I think part of that too was the throw was a little bit behind him. He kind of had to come back for it, and then he couldn't get his feet back out from under him.
Well, I'm pretty sure like on the play, like I couldn't tell if that. I don't think that was his read. So
no, so his route was just that kind of slant, and he was open on the slant, but Gronowski had to scramble, so we didn't see him open on the slant, and you could tell immediately on the slant he was open. And then like the corner and the safety kind of ran into each other trying to cover him on that slant, and he just turned upfield and started waving his head, and like Gronowski just happened. It was kind of a lucky play. Gronowski happened to roll out right, and when he looked up, like all you see is just him with 6 yards to spare right down the middle of the field, and it was a beautiful throw.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was, again, just something we haven't seen from a quarterback in a long time, is able to make plays like that.
Yeah.
And then obviously, they go down, they continue to the drive, a couple of good runs, stall out a little bit inside the 10. I think we got down to exactly the 10-yard line, because I looked at the guy next to me and I was like, oh, that couldn't have been like the 12, so we had a first down inside the 2 or anything. Yeah. And, we tried a couple of passes, and it ended up, I think it was 4th and 5. So, game on the line.
That was the second one, because I think was the how do you say his name?
Vaname or Vaname?
Yeah. Was that on? That wasn't on 4th down.
No, that wasn't.
There was was like a 10 or 15-yard pass. That was like.
Yeah, I think that
also
one was
on
to
4th and 3 or something.
Like, there was to like Moulton, I think, or something.
Okay, yeah. Because that was like.
No, I think it might have been. It was somebody. Yeah, and that was the one that went down on the 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Vaname pass ended like on like the 20 or something, or like the 25.
Because I remember there was like two, like again, just going off of like, oh, like he's just been so clutch, is like that's
two great throws.
Two great throws and 2 4th down plays.
Then stepping up inside the 10, 4th and 5, games on the line. And like, first of all, I don't know how you don't cover that as Oregon.
Yeah.
You let him. You say if you make this throw, good on you, and you put a spy on him, and you don't let him run that into the end zone. Yeah, that's the thing. You make him throw that ball.
You make him throw.
When he has a 15-yard window to work with, it's so much easier to cover guys. I don't get why you wouldn't just say, let's just play man on the edges, let's rush 4, and let's just have a spy and just not let him run this ball in the end zone, because he had a wide open path.
I mean, were we within the 10 when we got the first touchdown pass?
The first.
Do you think that affected? Because
we were that screen pass.
Yeah. So maybe that affected them a little bit, but I think I agree. Like you're within the 10, and pretty much Iowa season on the line. They're gonna just have their best player take that ball.
Exactly.
Like.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I'm not here to coach Oregon. They won the game, so clearly they know a little better than me. But yeah, he runs the ball into the end zone, and vibes are just immaculate.
Oh, I was pumped at the wedding. I watched that live at the wedding. I was pumped. I'm like, they were actually giving us a top countdown, which is funny.
Yeah,
like 4 minutes until the like bride and groom make their first dance.
Yep.
And I'm like watching as we're like 4th down, and I'm like, all right, no timeouts. Like let's just go. Like come on. Like.
Yep. I saw somebody on Twitter say like, that run into the end zone is like that's the new Beathard to Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like, or it's just such a phenomenal like just step up baller play that just unfortunately ended up not mattering and will kind of be forgotten to everyone besides the Iowa fans.
Yeah.
Because a couple more passing stats really here just about Gronowski before we get into that final drive. So a fact that somebody published earlier in the week before the game, which I'm not going to credit because they did not. There's an addendum to this fact. I'm not going to credit them for this fact, but the most consecutive games that a 300-yard passer in Power 4, Iowa leads that streak at 73 games, which is not great.
That's not a great stat.
And to make it a little worse, tied for second is Northwestern and UCF at 30. So
Jesus.
less than half.
See, even UCF makes sense because their head coach for a while was Malzahn, who's literally like all he does is just do different run plays.
Yeah.
Like he's almost like a Navy and Army coach.
Yeah.
Like,
And Northwestern, not a amazing football team playing in a pretty good football conference, but less than half of our streak. That was the stat that was published. The thing that they didn't add in there, though, is that in that time we're 51-22 during that stretch. So,
hey, we win games.
Yeah, but it is just something that it's like. Imagine if we had that, you know. Imagine if we had that guy who could throw 300 yards on occasion. How much better we might be than 51-22 or 20? Yeah, 51-22.
But I guess my question would be: would we be better than 51-22?
Like, do we just win the games on the ground?
Well, I'm like, how many of those? Like, you would rather have, like, would you rather have like a 300-yard passer with like 2 interceptions,
or
3
Caleb
interceptions?
Johnson?
Yeah, or Caleb Johnson. Like, I don't know. Obviously, you want 300 yards. I'm more just like hypothetical. Like, I actually wonder if just the way that we play games, would we be able, the way we win games, would we be able to have a 300-yard passer?
That's a fair point. Yeah, it was just the only reason I even added the stat in there is because Gronowski is like, even though he is like a ground quarterback and this is still a run first team, like we said earlier, he outpassed more. He's like good in the air in a way that we haven't seen. Like Stanley was good in the air. Yeah. Stanley was just so inconsistent. Mm-hmm. Like we haven't seen a quarterback be able to make the passes like this consistently since Beathard. I mean, I keep going back to Beathard, but
we haven't had anyone since Beathard. So
yeah. And then I was also just gonna say, I think already with this one season, Gronowski is a top 4 quarterback that Ferentz has ever had. I think it's Banks, Stanzi, Beathard, Gronowski, and not necessarily in that order.
So do you think he's better than Stanley?
I think in terms of the way that he's playing on the field and the way that he can step up and win games, yes. There's probably arguments to be made that if you put both of them on the same team with like the same O-line and the same receivers and stuff, that maybe Stanley could be a better quarterback, but I just don't think we saw that on the field.
Yeah.
You know,
no, I mean, I
those
agree.
Flashes of brilliance, but I think just in terms
like
of,
I mean, the fact that in terms of like literally like he's a winner.
Yeah, if you're just gonna
he's won everywhere he goes. Like I don't think we've had other coaches talking about him.
Yeah,
like they do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like since like since those guys that you're talking about, like they don't talk about. I feel like I see like almost every week like the other team's coach talking about Gronowski. Like years past, you don't have them talking about our quarterbacks because it's like, oh yeah, you're talking about the run game, you're talking about the defense. I think even
in like that undefeated season with Beathard wasn't like the talking point because it was just that was a team with like weapons around Beathard. Not that Beathard wasn't a great quarterback and not that he didn't have a phenomenal season, but it's just like it wasn't like Beathard had to like step up and win those games on his own. You know what I mean?
No, I completely agree. And I feel like people are going to be like, people who haven't watched Iowa this year or know, I guess, aren't Iowa fans or don't know Iowa as well, like they're gonna be like, like you guys one of your best quarterbacks in the last 20 years is a guy who like hasn't beaten a top 25 team.
Yeah,
I already know that's gonna happen. Like people are gonna say that, but
I just think like if you're
then you haven't watched
an all-time team,
you'd want him too.
Yeah, oh yeah,
you'd want him too.
I think if you're like sitting around and you're saying like, oh, you can have the pick of your litter of anyone who's ever played for Ferentz to put on the field. The Gronowski's in that conversation for the quarterback. He's probably not the one you would take. Yeah. I think it's between Banks and Stanzi for one.
Yeah.
And I think you probably Beathard gets the nod even over him simply because he's only been here for the 1 year and we've only seen him in, 8 games now?
Yeah. And he's not 100%. I feel like people keep forgetting that. Like, but he's not 100%.
He's top 4 for sure in my mind. And you could probably make arguments for him to be 3. Like I said, not necessarily in that order. And that's why it just fucking blows that he's here for 1 year. It's so rough.
It's frustrating
because this feels like that team that like going into the year you weren't like
you didn't
know how good they'd be, and they look phenomenal, and like with 1 more year they would just put it together, but they just don't have 1 more year.
I need something to happen with like what is it, the Vandy quarterback? He's trying to get like an extra he's trying to get like an extra year of eligibility and like
which that's a little different because he was JUCO and Gronowski was just D2.
I know,
but still
figure it out. Give us another year of Mark.
Yeah, and maybe you hope you got 3 years out of Hecklinski or Hank Brown. You hope that maybe you can have one of those quarterbacks that like plays you for a few years and like you get a good run with a good team. But if he was here for one more year, it would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
We should probably talk about that last drive though.
Yeah. Should probably get.
Yeah. So the problem was just what the problem was that we talked about earlier all day. You just couldn't stop the run, and they ran it down our throats, and they just played hurry up offense. And then suddenly they didn't run it, and it was this phenomenal pass.
Yeah, you can't be mad about that.
No, I'll put this one in the link dump. I know I talked about it I think it was the Penn State game. There was like something I didn't want to put in the link dump because I didn't want to watch it again. This one I will because if you're mad at the defense, it's hard to be. It's a perfect throw.
I mean, it's the same thing as the Indiana game. It's the exact same thing. Yeah. Like it's just they made a pass that
could not really be defended.
Like it's just one of those.
Even more so could not be defended than the Indiana game.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's just one of those. I mean, we'll get. Yeah. It's for Iowa. It's one of those seasons, and for the other teams, it's also like maybe I don't know about Oregon. I don't know. I saw some comments being like, "Oh, the old Oregon would have lost this game."
Yeah.
So I don't know if is a difference with like Dan Lanning.
Yeah.
There. But like Indiana, we'll get to that game, but like. They did that against us. They just did it against Penn State. They're just making throws because it is their year.
It was. I think like the tweet that is going to be in the link dump that I linked, like the caption on it is like something where it's like there's putting the ball right on the money, and then there's this. Like that throw is off by a few inches, and it's probably not a completed pass.
Yeah.
Like Hall has as good of coverage as he could have pretty much possibly had. And there's a lot of people on Twitter that like, if he just turns around, that guy gets 2 yards of separation and he's not there to make a play anyway.
Exactly.
He was with him stride for stride. He made himself as big as possible, and credit to the receiver too, made no indication that ball was coming. He was just running along with the receiver, keeping him stride for stride, and suddenly the ball was in the guy's hands. Like he had no idea it was coming. It's hard to like sit there and try to knock a ball out when it's just suddenly in the guy's hands. You have no idea it's going to be there.
I mean, he was like crumpling to the ground. Like it was just
like that ball, it misses Hall by like inches coming in the side. It hits him perfectly in the hands as he's already going down right into like just the cradle. It was just perfect.
Yeah. And
the only thing about that drive that I think we did wrong is the way they were running it up our throat and running hurry up offense. They got that first down, and it was like you could kind of see like this is probably where they would take a shot. We should have called timeout.
Yeah.
And I know you don't want to give them a timeout when the clock's running and there's 50 seconds to go and you have the lead. But like the way they were running hurry up, you just need to call a timeout and you need to let your defense like take a breath, you know, like just make a sub if you need to. But,
yeah, it was just like it was just one of those like instances where I was just like, even before that pass and at the pass,
you could feel
it. Like, I could feel it. Like we got the touchdown. I was absolutely pumped, but then almost immediately I was just like,
there's too much time.
They have too much time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think they should have called timeout. You had 3. I know also you want to save, they get a quick score. You want to have your timeouts to try to go down and get a field goal yourself, but like just take the timeout and recollect on defense.
Yeah. And
the other thing I didn't understand, the other thing I'm going to rag on Oregon's coaches for, they were on like the 23-yard line or whatever. I don't have the exact yard line. And then they threw it 3 times, which I get you're trying to not run time off the clock, but also get into the end zone. But like,
you've been running
why
so
would
efficiently.
You throw that ball? Why would you risk an interception when you can just run it 3 times up the gut? Even if you get 1 yard, you have 3 timeouts. You can call timeout after every run and kick a field goal. And I think maybe they have trouble with their kicker.
That's what I'm saying. Did they have they? I have no idea.
Yeah, I think he has had trouble this year. His name's like Atticus or something. We were talking about that in the car after the game. Ari was like, "Fuck Atticus" or whatever, and I was like, "Isn't that the guy from To Kill a Mockingbird?"
Well, I'd actually be even. I'm actually a little bit more mad now that he's had kicking issues and he like smokes like perfect on the day.
Yeah,
and fucking we
2
lost
for 2,
we lost
to
Penn. We lost to Iowa State and their kicker was like great up until that point, and then I think after that he's like had problems all year.
He's hurt. He's been hurt.
He's been hurt.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
yeah.
still.
No, did you? They had They were down to their third string kicker, and then their third string kicker got hurt, and they had a linebacker doing the kickoffs and taking the field goals for a game. It was pretty funny.
So many kickers get hurt.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah, what's going on in your conditioning?
Yeah, what's your conditioning also is like.
What do your special teams practices look like? Yeah, so
I guess like any overall thoughts.
I mean, it stings. Like this team had a chance to do something huge.
Yeah.
And it just like the chances of that happening now are very minuscule, and it sucks. And not that to say that, again, we've said, not to say that like the playoffs are the end all be all only thing that matters anymore. I still think this could be a really good team that gets a good bowl win and is a fun one to look back on.
Yeah.
But it just like, it's still fresh that like the big leagues are done, you know, and like that's still fresh.
And what does like kind of suck, I guess, is like, in years past, you know, we got made fun of a lot for like, you know, being in the conference the division we were in our conference where, like we haven't really played anyone like that great.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go in and get like killed in the Big Ten championship.
Yeah.
This does not feel like one of like,
no.
we showed up.
I mean, this team has played two of the best teams in the Big Ten.
And could have won both of them.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
It is one of those years that's like,
if we had this is the hardest schedule we've played in a long time. If we had any of the schedules we've had for the past 10 years, we would probably be in the championship game, let alone like definitely making the playoffs.
And I mean, I'm glad that we have like harder schedule.
Yeah,
but it's
exactly.
Just, like literally one of my buddies, I was texting him and he was like, and that's kind of what he texted me. He was just like, it's nice to know that like, at least this year, we are playing with like the big boys.
Yeah,
like,
we are right up there.
We wouldn't get killed in a Big Ten championship.
Exactly.
game.
Yeah.
Like in years past, when it's like, oh yeah, we're 10-2, it feels great, but then
we're
gonna lose in the Big Ten championship. It's like this year, like
we're gonna lose by 40.
I think the only team that I'd be like, okay, like not even like I would say Ohio State, but Ohio State hasn't been like killing teams.
Yeah.
So like I feel like,
and I think with Ohio State too, they haven't played Indiana or did they play Oregon?
No,
I don't think they did.
No, because Oregon's only losses to
the championship game will be their first real test.
Indiana.
So it's hard to really like give a metric of like, are they really one step above everyone else yet?
Yeah,
but we'll see. So we'll get into a little more. We only dropped one spot in the rankings. We dropped from like 20 to 21, and honestly, that feels fair. Like we are where we in the greater power rankings of college football. That's right around where I think we are.
Yeah,
we're not one of those top 10 teams as we've proved where we couldn't close it against Oregon and Indiana, but we are a top tier team this year as in terms of like the top 25.
Yeah.
Like I think right around 20 is about where we are. And that's where we should be.
I know people are like, I've seen on Twitter, they're like, Iowa like are frauds. They literally haven't beaten a ranked opponent, this and that. And it's like,
that was
actually,
a bitter Iowa State fan, by the way, that tweeted that.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, sorry your season went to fucking shit.
Yeah.
It is just like, if you actually watch the games like we have, it's like, I would be honest and be like, oh, we're not a top 25 team.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, I know it was at home. But
I think we are top 25. I don't think we're top 20. You know, I think 20 to 25, that's right where we belong.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I think there are a few teams in the top 20 that are there now that I think we can beat.
Yeah, absolutely. I think any team in the top 15 we have a shot against.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think there's,
and we'll get to see it next week at UCLA or USC. I keep calling them UCLA, which we'll get into more later. We don't travel west well, but regardless, all this to say, we're not necessarily out of the playoffs yet. However, it's no longer in our own hands, as it was before.
I obviously went out and got to get a little lucky.
So Oregon has to essentially lose to USC and at Washington is our best bet. So I'm going to link this in the link dump. There's this really cool website that I found that like you can put in any like scenario for the rest of the season and it'll pump out the rankings and it'll show you all of the tiebreakers, which is very helpful as we've talked about a lot in the 18-team conference era that we are in. The tiebreakers are very hard. So our easiest path would be if Oregon loses versus USC and at Washington and we win out, obviously. We do finish third in the Big Ten still. And I think even with the loss to Iowa State, it's hard to keep us out finishing third in the Big Ten. There's a lot of other wacky scenarios that could happen where we end up finishing fourth. I do think, though, if we finish fourth, the Big Ten doesn't get a fourth team in the playoffs because of our loss to Iowa State.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to give SEC all the...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I will say, I mean, obviously, if we beat USC, that'd be something. But if we can't win a ranked like game, like that's just like no matter what,
Yeah.
no matter how close it is, if we can't win a ranked game, then we don't deserve to be in there. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. I think we'd have to come out and like. I think honestly, like obviously some things have to go wrong, but I think we'd have to like, or things would have to go right for us. But I think we'd have to like kill USC.
I don't think so. If you finish third in the Big Ten, you're getting in, even with the lost Iowa State. The only thing that could potentially happen is like they would give it to Michigan or USC behind us in fourth place in the Big Ten, getting jumped, which would be kind of fucking bullshit.
At least like what I've seen from the playoff committees that I don't think they would do that.
Yeah, the Big Ten is getting 3 teams in.
Yeah.
Like there's no question the Big Ten gets 3 teams in. The question is if they get 4 teams in. Unlikely.
Yeah.
If we finish third, we need a lot of help, but I don't think you can keep us out unless you give it to it. Like I said, unless you give it to a team behind us who maybe only has 2 losses and finished 4th in the Big Ten.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't looked at like Illinois or I know Washington.
Illinois is out. The only teams that have a chance still in the Big Ten really are Michigan or USC. And then obviously if we finish third, it would be we would see. Because obviously Washington no longer has a chance because I guess we can talk about really quick. I think we're pretty much moved on from the game. Lost to Wisconsin this week, 13-10.
Dude, how do you throw away your season like that?
My favorite stat in such a long time in college football. Wisconsin lost to a team whose place kicker is their leading passer.
Oh my God. I didn't see this.
They had 48 pass yards total. They played 3 quarterbacks. Their best quarterback was 2 for 3 with 16 yards. The guy they gave the most snaps to, Carter Smith, 3 for 12 for 8 yards. And their place kicker on a fake punt, or maybe a fake something, 1 pass, 24 yards.
That is incredible. I need to look at this like
the stat line.
Yeah,
it's about 150 rushing yards apiece. Washington also doesn't have a lot of passing yards, but they had more than Wisconsin. But that is Big Ten football right there.
So that's what Iowa should have done to Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Was it at Wisconsin?
Got to get some place kicker throws. It was at Wisconsin.
Oh my God.
But my favorite, another fun fact about this game is it's kind of the reverse that we talked about so much earlier in the year of like the effect where you fire your coach and you step up and win a game, because they announced earlier this week that Fickell will be back next year. So the official announcement said that Fickell will be back next year, and they're going to invest significant amounts of money into both assistant coaches and facilities.
Which they should. I think that's one thing that I've heard a lot is that Fickell got no money.
But I still just don't think that Fickell's.
No,
I don't think
agree.
he has it.
I don't.
I think you do both of those things. So what I'm hearing is that they can't afford to fire Fickell might be the issue.
Probably.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised they're that like kind of strapped with money.
I think the problem is a lot of the boosters aren't paying them right now because they're so pissed off.
That's true.
And they're like, but the problem is they need money to make the moves that the boosters want to make too.
I mean, this is a crazy stat. I know we just talked about like the passing.
How many pass yards did Washington have?
They had 134.
Okay, so they almost doubled their scrimmage yards, I assume, Washington over Wisconsin.
But like Wisconsin only averaged 3.3 yards per carry.
Yeah, no, their running wasn't good either. Their running was not good either. Again, the game finished 10-13, so it was a very low-scoring game. They got lucky. Yeah, I didn't
Downs,
look at like the
missed field goal, punt, downs, punt was the first quarter. If that's not a Big Ten game, then I don't know what is.
It is really funny how quickly we have drugged these West Coast teams down to our level, except for USC seemingly so far.
This is literally like I'd expect like Iowa, Wisconsin like a few years ago.
Yeah. This is gold. This is like football gold. Big Ten gold.
I just like you're 23rd ranked, or what is their I'm sure that's ESPN just giving us their bullshit ranking.
They
were 23rd.
Yeah, they were 23rd last week.
So 20
obviously not ranked this week.
How do you lose to Wisconsin?
Crazy.
How?
And it just such a Big Ten game too. And this kind of leads me into another game that after the Penn State game, the Oregon game, obviously, we got a few drinks, went back to the hotel a little early because we were just not feeling it, you know. And we just turned on the TV while we were getting ready for bed. And the only game left on besides Hawaii, which you can't watch, is 0-8 Sam Houston at 2-7 Oregon State. And it just kind of was like cathartic because it reminded me that the playoffs aren't everything and that college football is still special because of fun shit like this. It was the most insane game I've ever, like one of the most insane endings I've seen in a long time. There was one point where they put up on the screen a little graphic. I was trying to find the graphic. That's like the whole end of the game. Gotcha. So I'll put it in the link dump. It's like from what I'm about to start describing to the end of the game. If anyone wants to see the end of this game, they put up a little graphic that was like Oregon State miscues, and I was like brushing my teeth at the time. Ari was dying laughing, and I was like, "What is so funny?" And he's like, "This graphic is up," and he's like, "They put up a graphic that says Oregon State miscues, and it's just everything that you could do wrong in football." it was like block punt return for touchdown, 2 interceptions, it was like 3 for 13 on third down or something. Like it was really bad. So this game, Oregon State. Again, 0-8 Sam Houston. Oregon State is up in the fourth quarter. Sam Houston blocks a punt, returns it for a touchdown, goes up 21-17 with 8 minutes to play. And then it's just turnover on downs, punts. Sam Houston gets a pick with Sam Houston, they get a pick with 1:45 to play. And they're like the guy who gets the pick runs to the sideline. You know how like Miami has like the turnover chain?
Yeah.
They have a turnover burlap sack with a $sign on it. And it's very clearly there's not money in this sack.
I was gonna say, I mean, they probably haven't had many of these.
There's a picture of it if you want to see it. I've linked the burlap sack picture. It's one of my favorite photos. It's just him up like standing up on the bench holding up a burlap sack full of money. It's so good. It's like, fuck the chain. We have this burlap sack. Like,
I actually love the fact that it's CW. Mm-hmm. It's on CW because that.
Oh yeah, it was also on the CW.
That sack looks like it's on some shitty CW show.
Yeah, like Riverdale.
And I love CW shows. Yeah, so it literally looks like it's out of like one of those shows.
Yeah. So they get the pick, immediately get like a big first down. And then go 3 and out. So they get a penalty, go 3 and out. And so they have 3rd and 18 with 1:23 to play. So they have to throw it. And they throw a pick. It was 2 picks in like 30 seconds.
Well, we're talking about passing for 300 yards. He didn't quite get there, but Oregon State's QB did throw for 286 yards, yet had
and still
2 interceptions and a QBR rating of 13.
That's crazy. Yeah, Oregon State got the pick. They drove all the way down to like the red zone, and then they just ended up losing it on downs. But it was just such a funny ending to a game, and it was like, okay, this is what college football is for. You know, it's not supposed to be perfect football. Their first win of the year.
This is when I like go into like the whole like, okay, who have they lost to, or who has Oregon State beaten? Like,
yeah. Dude, Sam Houston's schedule
was getting killed by like shit teams.
UTEP is on there.
They lost to UTEP by almost 20.
Yeah,
Louisiana Tech by like 40.
Hawaii, who's not like good.
Jesus Christ, who has
Jack State? Is that what that says?
Yeah,
I don't even
Jacksonville State.
Oh, Jackson. Okay.
Yeah, and who has Oregon State beaten?
Again, though, just poor Oregon State. That they were good. And when the Big 12, the last 2 years of the Big 12, they were good. And then did they beat Washington?
They beat Washington
yeah, that's
State
right.
10-7.
Oh god, it was such a funny game though. I would suggest watching it's like a 6 minutes. I just linked it to the timestamp at the end of the game, but yeah, it was. I did not
know that. That's hilarious.
Also phenomenal big man touchdown. That last link in there. The dude is wrapped up on the 40-yard line.
Let's
and
see.
Somehow
We got
powers
Wheeling
his way
Park
to the
Patriots
end.
versus John Marshall Monarchs. Oh, okay.
Weinman catches it. Wrapped up on the 50-yard line.
Oh, that's like the biggest boy out there.
Yeah, on the 45-yard line, he is in a complete huddle. Like everyone on the field,
everyone
is
around him, and he's just going. He's just
he's just
pushing him
all the way down the field.
No, this guy's twice the size of anyone. Oh my god,
it's so good.
That's actually that might be the best big man touchdown I've ever seen.
Definitely up there. The fact that he you could arguably stop it for forward progress on the 55, and then suddenly they just start moving. Like they just start trucking.
No, literally
for the 45.
He just doesn't go down. There's guys who come around the corner to go in front of him, and they immediately just get pushed off.
Yeah, there's 6 defenders and 3 of his guys pushing him, and they somehow muscle him all the way through it. Yeah. Anything else in the new rankings we want to go over though?
See, Oregon. I guess did we talk about Oregon only went up 1?
Yeah, Oregon only went up. We only dropped 1, and Oregon only went up 1. Which, to be fair, when you look at who's ahead of them, it's hard to justify moving them up. Yeah. Texas Tech, BYU, Ole Miss, Georgia, Bama, A&M, Indiana, Ohio State.
Yeah, top 5 did not change at all.
I was shocked, honestly, Indiana didn't drop behind A&M after a close call against Penn State.
Yeah. I mean, like, if we're kind of going off of how they kind of did the ratings with us and Oregon, like, that would, like, they're like pretty much like, oh, you guys were very, like, close, so we're not going to penalize Iowa and we're not going to really reward Oregon. So you'd kind of think that
Penn State
maybe
at
they
this
would
point,
switch Indiana and Texas A&M at least.
I thought that was all that would happen. I just think that Penn State is in the national narrative now is just like they suck. It would have hurt Indiana a little more.
Which I still think it's wild to say. It's almost like that year that Nebraska lost like 7 games by like 3 points or less.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like one of those seasons where like, I think they're like Penn State's 0-6 in the Big Ten, yet like I feel like they're better than majority of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Like
are they 0-6 really?
In the Big Ten, yeah.
That's crazy. One of the biggest jumps is so USC went from 19 up to 17. So we now have 21 Iowa at 17 USC.
They've only lost twice, and they've have 2, I guess, good losses. I mean, I don't think Illinois is a bad team.
I think they've only lost once.
They lost to Illinois and they lost Notre Dame. But
That's
Notre Dame
right,
was
out of
only a
conference.
10-point,
Yes.
only a 10-point loss, and obviously Notre Dame's a top 10 team. So, they have 2 like semi-quality losses. I'd say 1 quality loss, and Illinois, depending on how you rate them. Illinois still thinks a decent team. Besides that, they've handled their schedule. The closest game besides that was against Nebraska. And Nebraska is just not going to be the same team without Raiola.
Exactly. And like I mentioned earlier, they're kind of the one team that hasn't been drugged down by the Big Ten yet. It seems like they still got that West Coast offense. They're still putting up a lot of points.
Not counting the first 2 games, they put up like 170 points. But yeah, 35 versus Purdue, 45 versus Michigan State. Even in the loss, 32 points.
The line is USC -6.5, which I thought was a big line for 2 teams that I feel like are pretty close together in the grand scheme of things. Over under 49.5. I think you play this game on a neutral site, it's almost even odds either way. I do think going out west, obviously USC is going to be favored playing at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just trying to find exact stats for it. I can't, but like Iowa's record on the West Coast is just abysmal. I think the last win we had on the West Coast was that Holiday Bowl against USC.
Which that one felt so good.
That one did. That one felt really good.
With all the USC fucking Fox broadcasters that were on that game, pretty much giving 0 respect to Iowa.
Yeah.
And then they just got killed by like 30.
Yeah. Obviously last year we lost to UCLA, a bad game.
Yeah,
didn't really have a quarterback, but not good.
Yeah.
And then before that was at the Rose Bowl. I can't think of another game on the West Coast before that.
Yeah, I think it had to be that one.
The 2015 Rose Bowl, where obviously we just got fucking demolished by Christian McCaffrey.
I was gonna say it wasn't even Stanford.
It was Christian
just
McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And hey, he's demolishing the whole NFL for the past like 8 years or however many years it's been.
That was a bad game though. That was not a fun watch.
No. I mean, see, I almost think this game, I feel less confident about this game than I did against Oregon because I do think that USC's passing and their offense, they could finally, again, I still don't think our secondary is.
They could, yeah.
Like, I think they could kind of
they
run
could
us over.
find the holes in it.
I
like
think
we talked about Oregon maybe could. And I think honestly Oregon, that was one of the things going back for a second in like that was like last 2 drives where like the rain kind of stopped and I was like, oh, they're going to start airing it out on us. And like in that they did find the holes on that last drive.
That's what I worry with USC because I feel like they're one of the better passing offenses.
Agreed. I think Oregon would have had it not been for the weather.
Yeah.
And obviously Southern California. there is rain in the forecast for this game.
We'd love that.
Let me actually look up the exact forecast. If it rains Saturday, 70% chance of rain on Saturday, 61 degrees. So that actually could help us tremendously. I think it would help us more here than it would against Oregon because USC isn't really a running team at all.
I mean, they ran all over Northwestern. I'm just looking at like their last ones, but
they got it big. So a lot of that is just garbage time running the ball at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know how to like feel or like what to expect because again, I think that even though teams have more exploited our rush defense recently, Maryland, right?
Rutgers.
Was the Rutgers? It was against Rutgers.
This year was Rutgers.
Okay. I always get confused between those two teams. Against Rutgers, like they don't have a good offense, and they were kind of airing it out against us.
Yeah,
and
they were.
And that was like the last time. Like,
I will say our secondary has kind of stepped up since.
They have. Oh, I mean, we talked about it
together
last week with like Wampa stepping up, Lutmer stepping up.
Oh, real quick, when Wampa went down, and that God, my nose is starting to run. It's cold out here. When Wampa went down for a second, I think he just got like hit in the throat, and he came
I
out
saw
and
that.
called
It was
timeout.
on one of the runs. Like the
Yeah.
guy, like he dove, kind of not missed the tackle. But
Yeah.
like, kind of went on the back of him and then
And just got him in the throat.
Yeah.
It was scary though. Like he was like rolling around on the ground, like banging the dirt, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like if he's done, we're done.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think our secondaries like has stepped up, but I just worry that it's just gonna be that one game where they just get kind of
They
exposed
find
a
the
little
holes.
bit.
Yeah, because I do think that it's possible. Yeah.
I just think like our offense, like it might be a shootout. That's the funny thing. Like
That would be fun. Another kind of like early Rutgers.
yeah, like a little bit of a shootout because like I think our offense can score, which is wild to say. I will say it. I think they can. I know they only put up 16 points.
Yeah.
I think they can score against really anyone if there's just not these miscues and like obviously
I agree.
we still put up 16 points, which is I know not a lot at all, but
Yeah.
in a rainy, like shitty like weather, and we're still
If
able.
it rains, we definitely get an advantage. That definitely is in
Yeah.
our favor.
Yeah.
I got to remember to bring my rain jacket.
Yeah, you're going
gotta
out
pack
for the
that.
game.
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably shoot some video while I'm out there. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll get some.
And guess what I'll be doing?
What will you be doing? I actually don't know.
I'll be at work.
Oh,
Dude,
fun.
I'm getting so unlucky with the times.
Yeah.
Like literally if any of these games, which I don't want them to be at 11
Mhm.
because like I prefer like
I
later
forgot
in the
that.
day games.
But this is a. Yeah,
It's 2:30
this is a
game.
2:30. Yeah. Yeah.
And I start at 2.
That's a rough. That is rough. Yeah.
And it's like
No, I do. Yeah, what you said about a shootout, I think a lot of the problem that I always had on these West Coast games lately, not lately, just like historically, is like, and it doesn't even make sense because the time difference is in our favor when you really think about it because it's earlier, but they just kind of look lethargic and asleep out there. And I do think the one advantage we have this year is I don't think Gronowski does that. I don't think Gronowski
yeah.
I don't think he like falls asleep behind the line, if that makes sense. He just
Yeah.
kind of seems like the guy who's always going to show up.
Yeah, I agree. And as we're saying, just don't make that initial mistake.
Yes, that'd be huge.
Like just don't make that initial state. Like stay obviously we've been in those games and we've made the mistakes, but just don't make that initial mistake. And like I'm not, it was almost like Indiana game where like they scored and I wasn't too worried. Like we made the mistake and they scored and I was like, all right, it's like we punted it or we kicked it off at the beginning of the game.
yeah.
Like, and that's kind of how I'm looking at like, okay, USC, I'm almost expecting them come out and they're going to score right away.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Yeah.
that's fine. It's been happening kind of most of the year. I just don't want that mistake that
And
leads to
that
it.
happens historically with Iowa because that is
Yeah.
like Phil Parker's defensive plan is you do kind of let up big plays and bad drives
You
on
kind
those
of
first
see
two
how they're
drives,
going to
and then
play.
he adjusts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of expecting a lot of offense for USC and not a lot of defense.
Yeah.
And there's been times in history like where that's been very good for us, like the Holiday Bowl. But then
Yeah,
there's been other
absolutely.
times where like, you know,
Like the Rose Bowl.
yeah.
Or honestly, or just UCLA last year.
Yeah.
There were a lot of interviews with players today, before press conferences, and I will say a lot of the message was like, yeah, that sucks, but like it is what it is. It's time to move on. And a lot of their comments were pretty encouraging, just from like I don't think they're gonna be like so disappointed that they're caught lacking a little bit. Like
Yeah.
I think they are like, that sucks, take a day, mourn it, and then like let's move on to the next
Yeah, like
game.
we got a very good game.
Yeah, we got
next
a big
week.
game coming
we got
up.
a big game next
And
week.
they're still they also still were like seem to be in spirits of like we can still do something special with this season, even if it's not as special as we hoped it could have been.
Yeah.
I think Gronowski's comment was like, yeah, like it's really hard to not like take a second to think about what could have been, but you don't want that to affect what still could be.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like there's still games to play, and
Mhm.
there's, as we talked about earlier, anything can happen.
Yeah.
And even though it's not really in our hands anymore, we can do our best to be like, hey, put us up there.
Yeah. You still even
you
like
can still make a statement.
even if Oregon does lose those two games that we need them to lose, we still have to win our games.
Yeah.
You still have to do your part. So like,
Yeah.
that's what we got to see that.
You still got big games like this, not just this week. Like you still have a rivalry game against Nebraska. Like it's
And like,
there's-
don't just write off that Michigan State game. Like,
yeah. Oh, that could easily be a
That could
trap
easily
game.
be a trap game. Yeah, it's
I
hard
almost
to
didn't
be-
think about this game.
Oh,
for
I was
all-
Good,
I didn't
because I'm
think about-
going to it. I've been
Well,
thinking
yeah,
about this one a lot.
I guess you
yeah.
have. I haven't thought about the game I feel like almost all season because I was like, we have to. There's a lot.
big hurdles before.
Yeah, and obviously Oregon was just the whole year on the calendar as this is our biggest game
Yeah.
against the hardest opponent. Obviously, we didn't know Indiana was going to be number 2.
Yeah.
So on paper, the whole year, it's been Oregon has been that game. And now that that's over, it's like, oh shit, we have the number, 19 or what are they now, 17 ranked
17,
USC?
Yeah, they'll be 17 this week.
So it's still a huge game.
It's a big game.
Ow, I just hit my funny bone.
It's hard to be like super optimistic about it just because, it was a down week. Football wasn't the most fun this week, unfortunately. Well, Bears won, right?
Yeah, Bears did
Yeah,
win.
Bears won. It was another close one.
Yeah.
And the Bears
I
are
was
also now in first place after the Packers lost yesterday.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I sadly missed most of that game
Yeah.
because I was driving home from the wedding.
Dolphins also won. Beat the Bills. Huge game. Phenomenal.
I actually did not know that.
They beat the Bills. Feels so good. I don't care if we don't win a game the rest of the year. They because we beat the Bills like a few years ago, but they didn't have Josh Allen in that game. Finally beat the Bills with Josh Allen. Felt great. Oh my God, did you see the McDaniel thing?
No.
I
missed everything for NFL this week because I was just driving through just the South and Midwest.
That's fair.
All Sunday.
Mike McDaniel did the funniest thing I've ever seen an NFL coach do. I'll put this in the link dump also. After the game, he drove by the Bills bar in near the stadium. It rolled down his window and was giving the fans shit in the bar. Like just the head coach of the team that just crushed you.
Are we sure that's not like AI? I mean, it looks good.
It's not. No, there's a video of him driving by and everything.
That's awesome.
There's also, I'll put all this in the
I
link
love
dump
the
'cause it's very
pettiness of
funny.
that.
There's also a video of him in the press conference where one of the reporters asked, like, before the video of him doing it came out, they're like, was that you in the, was that you in that photo? Like, is that real? And he just goes, oh, yeah, I saw that on Twitter, today. And he's like, I do live in that area. It just with AI nowadays, you can't trust anything. And
So
he just kind of like trails off. And then everybody was like, the reporter's like, that wasn't an answer. And he goes, yep. It's really good.
I actually love that from him.
Yeah, and I think he said that I'm not answering. That's the punchline. The Reddit comments were so funny because everybody was like, all right, extend him. I've seen enough.
Yeah.
I don't care
I
what
don't care about
happens.
all this other shit where
Yeah.
the team can't win.
I don't care how the team goes. Extend this man.
Yeah.
Which honestly, that's what football should be. At the end of the day, sports are for fun. Just like a little bit of shit talking, a little bit of drama.
I'd rather my coach do that than never I don't know. I've had coaches and watching Blackhawks
chill out.
have any just have any emotion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Show any emotion.
Yeah. He earned that. Beat
Yeah.
the Bills. You're having a bad year. You beat one of the best teams. Talk your shit.
Yeah, talk your shit, celebrate a little bit. What are they going to say?
Exactly. Yeah, they lost.
You just lost. He's the reason you lost.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts on USC game? I mean, you're going.
I'm going.
How
I'll
do
be
you-
there. Yeah,
what's
we
your-
fly out on Thursday. Obviously, a bunch of my friends live out there just because we know a lot of people in LA, so we went to film school. But yeah, we're going out Thursday, doing something Friday, going to the game, tailgate. I don't think we have a tailgate, but we're just gonna do bars, hit the game. Hopefully, we win. I don't know.
Where are your tickets at?
I think they're end zone in the 200 section. Yeah.
How's it
they're not
work? Is
great,
it
but
do you know that you're going to be around other Iowa fans? I don't know how that
no
works.
idea. I have no idea.
I don't know if they kind of.
When we were at the UCLA game last year, we were around a lot of Iowa fans. That's because, honestly, the stadium was half Iowa fans.
But I have wondered that because I'm do they if I really haven't gone to away games for I've been to I've been to bowl games for Iowa and I've been to away games in Northwestern, which aren't away games.
Yeah, I've been to away games at Iowa State and UCLA is it, I think. Oh, I guess the
Iowa
Wrigley one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, at Wrigley, I don't count as an away game.
Yeah, I agree.
That was a sea of yellow,
Yeah.
black and yellow. The Iowa State, was that just
I was in the student section for that game.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the
You wore your
2019
Iowa
game
stuff?
where, oh yeah, there were a
You-
lot of Iowa fans.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll say I feel that game. It's almost it's hard where it's there's gonna be a shit ton of
Yeah.
obviously no matter who's home, who's away, there's gonna be a shit ton of the other
Yeah.
there.
No, the Iowa State game one we were at was the 2019 game that got delayed 4 hours for weather.
Oh.
And so everybody left the stadium, including the security. And then the students didn't because they you lose your seat if you leave.
yeah,
So as we were all just kind of sitting in the student section being we're the only section with anybody in it, looking around
that's fun. I didn't
damn,
know.
this is getting dangerous. And then obviously everybody ran out onto the field and started fucking around on the field in that game. That was that one. It was
damn.
Did you not see any of that?
I don't think I saw any of that.
There was a point where like some of the security guards stayed out in that game, and then like everybody left, and there was a point where like lightning struck, and the security guards kind of looked at each other and walked in the tunnel, and then like we all kind of started looking at each other in the student section like we're the only ones here now, and like one person went, and then everybody went.
It's like come back out and be like, okay, guys.
Yeah, we were all just sprinting around the field. It was very funny.
I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting. That's a good story.
Yeah, that was also the one with the muff punt to win it. That game, yeah,
Love
at the
it.
end. It was like a 7-hour experience in that stadium. Yeah, you asked what I want to see in the game, and I just talked about what we're doing in LA.
Well, I kind of veered because I was like, well, you're actually going to the game, which like is more than like, oh, you're just going to Iowa City. Like,
I would actually be pumped for a rain game. As much as I do want to see us like really like in an even battle against a good team, this could be just a fun rain game.
Yeah,
like that could be a fun matchup in the rain.
Yeah, I think it'll be closer than the -6.5.
I do too.
I think we can obviously win it.
I think
I'm not hugely confident.
Yeah, if I was a completely unbiased guy, I would say that I would probably pick USC on this game.
Yeah.
I think it would be closer than 6.5. The line should be closer than 6.5 in my head. I would have put it like 4.5.
That's what I was going to say. 4.5.
Over under also, was shockingly low at 49.5. So they do think Iowa's defense will be able to stand up a little bit. Like they're projecting 20 points a team.
See, that's what I was saying. Is like if you're going to give us that over under, then
you would
I
think
feel
that
like
it would be a closer game.
It would be a closer, yeah.
That was kind of what I was shocked about.
But hey, they know what they're talking about over at
that's true.
Over in
They've
Vegas.
been pretty accurate. I don't think we said at the top of the show, but this is Hawks Off Melrose.
I think you did.
I
think you got that.
I was talking about how we need the sad intro, which I stand by.
We need to go get. Yeah, we need to get one.
Yeah. Check out our link. The link dump. We've talked about a lot of stuff that'll be in there. It's going to be at fishballsports.com/Hawks Off Melrose. And then it'll be Melrose 12 if you run the exact URL. But if you just go to Hawks Off Melrose, you can see all the episodes. Click on the one you want. At Hawks Off Melrose everywhere, at Fishball Sports on Twitter. Our social links will be in there if you want to check out our stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we hope for next week that we'll have a back to the happy.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be a little warmer out here too. It's supposed to get up to like 60 this weekend.
Yeah. No, it literally just like dropped. It's like was 20 degrees today.
Yeah. It's cold.
Wasn't
there's snow on the ground.
Here?
There's
like,
none up here.
There's
a little on Sad Mark here.
Yeah. Hey, he's still
he's kicking a little
bit.
He looks honestly apt to what the game was this week, you know?
Yeah. Not him, though, because Mark played well.
That's true. Yeah.
It just made the team in general.
No, he's just sad about it.
Yeah, he's just a little sad.
Yeah.
He's been beat up, you know.
Yeah.
That's
I did
fine.
see he shaved the Fu Manchu, and everybody was like, it was your fault. You jinxed us. The Fu Manchu is lucky. Bring it back.
How would he do that?
I don't know.
All right, well, I'm Jeremy.
I'm Drew. Again, this is Hawks Off Melrose. And we'll catch you next week.
Peace.